Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's yoga class is all about instilling and building on our sense of confidence, not allowing our insecurities to get in our own way. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to begin today's class coming to stillness. You can find that sense of stillness by maybe coming into a standing frame towards the top end of the mat, or maybe you'd like to come to a seated frame of your choice. I'm going to find my way into Thunderbolt with my knees together, my feet together, sitting back. Start to find a sense of length through the spine, whether you're seated or standing. Take the heel of one hand and begin to gently press down on your breastbone with soft pulsing like motions. Take the heel of your other hand and begin to press on your third eye, that little spot between the two eyebrows. Close your eyes and take your focus inward as you start to play with those soft pulsing presses. Begin to run a little mantra through your mind's eye. The words that you're going to use for your mantra today are the words, I am confident, I am capable. Keep repeating those words. I am confident, I am capable. I am confident, I am capable. Feel the weight of those words within your heart. Feel it within your head. Own your movement on the mat today. Don't be afraid to improvise if the mood takes you and go off script. Softly flutter open your eyes and keeping that mantra within the recesses of your mind, find your way to the top end of the mat and we'll begin running through some sun salutations. Find a comfortable samasthiti with your feet stacking in parallel underneath your hips, all 10 toes looking to the front of the mat. Tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position. Find a lengthening in your lower back and a soft contraction in your core. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Start to squeeze the energy between the inner thighs together. Look for that delicious lengthening through the spine. Take a big breath in as you float your hands overhead and come into a gentle back bend. Exhale to fold forward, bending at the knees. Step your legs back one at a time, coming into a plank line, nice and parallel to the front of your mat. Relax your knees to the floor, let your shins and the tops of your feet. And start to bend through your elbows, finding your way down onto the belly. Relax your third eye to the mat, pressing softly on that little tension spot between the two brows. Start to lead up into a soft cobra, rolling an imaginary marble away with your nose and making your elbow points heavy to the floor. Maybe you'd like to stay here, or maybe you'd start to extend through the arms, looking for more stretch through the spine. Then maybe pushing off your kneecaps, coming into a modified up dog, pressing off the tops of your feet and the palms of your hands. Then start to tuck the toes under, coming into a rolling down dog, pedaling the legs, bending one knee, extending the other, but keeping your knees tracking forward today as you just gently start to wake up the back chain of your legs. Then step up the right leg, trying to stack underneath your hips, replicate on the left, and lean with the back of your ribs, ragdoll yourself up into a standing frame to rinse and repeat. Find your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Big breath in, float your hands overhead as you find a gentle back bend. Exhale to fold forward, bend the knees and step back your legs one at a time, coming into a strong plank hold. Relax your knees, your shins and your feet to the floor. Bend your elbows but hug them in towards your ribs and find your way down onto the belly to tap your forehead on the floor. Lead up into your cobra. Maybe first keeping the arms bent and then maybe looking for more extension. Then bringing your knees off the floor and pushing off the tops of your feet. Strong through the core, strong through the back. Begin to tuck your toes under and give me a walking down dog. Starting to drop more weight down through the heels of your feet. Starting to stretch and open up along the back chain. Step up the left leg and then the right. Ragdoll your way back to your start position. Hands to heart center. Big breath in, take a gentle back bend. Exhale to fold forward, maybe placing the hands on the tops of your thighs, or maybe on your shins, or maybe on the floor, and just pausing there, looking for more stretch, more release into the lower back. Step back the right leg, and then the left. Find your plank. Bend the knees. Maybe floating the toes off the mat this time. Bend the elbows, try to come down nice and slowly onto the belly, and then tap your forehead and pause. Lead up into your cobra, either bent or extending through the arms and transition immediately into your up dog. Lead your way into a down dog. Walk it up. And then hold your down dog, trying to forge more of a triangular frame between the arms and the legs and piking up your bum nice and high to the sky. Then step up the right leg and then the left. Pause in your forward fold. Then ragdoll style, stretching the skin on your back, peel back up to your start position, hands to heart center. Big breath in, find a gentle back bend. Exhale to fold forward, maybe hands on your thighs, or lower down the chain of the legs, or maybe on the floor. Pause there in your forward fold, Uttanasana. Step back the left leg and then the right, find your plank, pause, look for that strength. Don't collapse through the shoulders. Relax both knees to the floor, but float the toes off. Bend your elbows, but hug them in towards your ribs as you find your way down to the belly. Tap your forehead to the floor and pause. Start to bleed up into your cobra line. Begin to morph into your up dog. And transition seamlessly into a little down dog pedal. Maybe just 2 or 3 pedals. And then try to hold your down dog. Feel that delicious stretch up the back and the front chain. Try to drop down as much weight as you can through the heels. Step up the left leg and then the right. Ragdoll your way up. Hands to heart center. Big breath in, take a gentle back bend. Exhale to fold forward and hold wherever your hands are. Make the crown nice and heavy. Maybe think of bringing your nose closer towards your knees. Then step or hop back into plank. This time, try to keep your knees off the floor if you can as you chaturanga down onto the belly. Bending through the elbows, finding your way to the belly. Relaxing your forehead, bleeding up through your cobra, transitioning through your up dog, finding your down dog and holding it. Maybe starting to step the feet a little closer so that you can get more drop down through the heels. Step up your right leg and then your left. Hold your forward fold. Wherever your hands are, whether they're on the legs or on the floor. Ragdoll your way back up. Hands to heart center. Let's do that one last time on the left. Find your gentle back bend. Fold it forward. Pause. Step back left and then right. Come into a strong plank hold. Give me a full chaturanga if you can, bending through the elbows, coming down nice and slowly, working those arms, hovering off the floor, then releasing your belly and your forehead to the mat. Start to bleed up through your cobra, transition into your up dog, morph into your down dog, maybe stepping the feet half to a full foot space forward and holding that delicious stretch through the entire body. Step up the left leg and then the right. Pause in your forward fold, Uttanasana, making your crown nice and heavy to the floor. Then leading with the back of your ribs, ragdoll up and come back to your original standing position at the top end of the mat. Take a recovery breath or 2. We're going to find our way into a warrior 2 line from here. Take a big breath in and then step your left leg back. Opening up that left leg to 90 and windmilling your arms open, tapping the wall in front and the wall behind. Start to bend your lead leg, trying to have knees stacking over your ankle. Look for a sense of lengthening through the body as you find Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Make sure that that weight is coming down evenly through the pelvis and that you're not leaning forwards or backwards. Then start to invert the front hand. Start to drop your back hand down to your back leg, maybe just wrapping around the inner thigh, and start to curl your lead arm almost as if you were trying to frame your head, maybe looking up towards that palm as you find a modified peaceful warrior. Looking for a slight crescent frame in the back. Exhale and drop your lead elbow to your lead thigh as you start to extend your other arm overhead. Pausing here, looking for a delicious stretch through the line of the back leg, through the line of your ribs, through the meridian of the arm. Then see if you can come into a triangle frame from here by extending the front leg, starting to maybe push with the back of your hand on the inseam of your leg, or maybe you'd like to tap your fingertips or your palm to the mat, looking for more of a T-like frame between the two arms. Pause, look for that sense of length and strength. Think of drawing up the energy from your kneecaps on both legs and sort of converging that energy at your pelvis. We're going to open up from here into a goddess line. Begin to bend your lead leg. Start to change your toe orientation onto the mat so that both toes are looking to the front corners of the mat, and open up into a cactus-like frame with your arms. Think of cracking a walnut between your two shoulder blades as you find your way into Goddess Uttaka Konasana. Lead your way back into your Warrior 2. And then take a big step back to the front of your mat. Find your way to Heart Center. Legs are just in a comfortable parallel line. Let's repeat that sequence on side 2. Big breath in, step your right leg back, windmill your arms open up your back foot to 90. Front toes are looking to the front of the mat, back leg, toes are looking to the side of the mat. Try to look for that sense of evenness through the front and the back leg so that your weight bearing is being carried evenly by both limbs. Keep your gaze steady over your front forefinger as you find your strength in Virabhadrasana 2. Then invert your front palm, drop your back hand to your back leg and start to look for a crescent frame through the back as you frame your lead arm. Wrap it around your head, maybe looking up towards that lead palm. So that lead palm is your drishti, your focal point. Then start to drop the lead elbow down to the lead leg and find your way into a modified side angle. Floating your other arm overhead. Try not to lean all of your weight into that lead thigh. Rather, look for a sense of lengthening through the trunk and let the trunk hold the weight of your body. Look for that long stretch through the back leg, through the meridian of the arm. Let's bleed our way from here into a triangle. Begin to straighten up your lead leg. Think more of a T-like frame through the arms, whether you're pressing from the inside of the legs, whether you've got your fingertips connected to the floor, or whether your palm is connected to the floor. If you need to, you can even take a block and place that on the inside of your leg. Start to draw the energy up from the kneecaps on both legs. Allow that energy to converge in the pelvis. From here, you're going to find your way into Goddess. So as you bleed up, start to change your toe line. Don't drop the knees in. So pretend that somebody's pushing from the inside and opening up beautifully through your inner thighs and your pelvis, and try to crack that imaginary walnut between your two shoulder blades. Lead your way back into Warrior 2. Tap the wall in front and the wall behind. Then push the weight off the back leg and find your way back to your standing frame, the top of your mat. Look for that parallel leg line. Squeeze the energy between the inner thighs together. Look for that delicious sense of length through the entire body. Let's repeat that sequence and change it slightly. Find your Warrior 2 on side 1, so leading with the right leg in front. Check that that back leg is open at 90. Watch that you're not dropping the backhand. Tap the wall in front, tap the wall behind. Look for that sense of lengthening through the spine and the arms. Reverse your warrior. Invert your front hand. Drop your back hand to your back leg. Give me a soft wrap around. Maybe looking up to that right palm. Look for that opening through the right side of your ribs. As you begin to drop your lead elbow, try to drop the whole right arm to the inseam of the right leg. Maybe pushing off the floor and tapping the other or tucking the other arm behind your back. If you've got the range of motion, start to bend or soften your bottom arm. Try to tuck it underneath your legs, giving me a little bear grip behind your back. Try to drop down through the pelvis, open up a little bit more. Stay here in your bound side angle or try to find your way into a bound triangle from here. Try to keep the bind where it is and just straighten up the lead leg. If you need to, you can play dynamically, bending and extending the front leg until you feel like that front leg has released enough and you can hold your bound triangle. Find your way into goddess from here by unbinding, opening up your arms into that cactus frame. Then bring the right arm in, overlay the left arm into the right and come into a little eagle bind, bringing the two hands together and dropping down a little bit more. So think really wide plie line through the legs. Maybe looking through your intertwined prayer hands to the wall in front of you. Getting a nice stretch into the arms and the shoulders. Then unbind your hands. Ease your way back into your warrior two line. Tap the wall in front, tap the wall behind. Launch off the back leg and step to the front of the mat, taking a recovery breath or two. Legs in parallel, begin to squeeze the energy between the inner thighs together. Look for that sense of lengthening in the spine and the lower belly. Take a big breath in. When you're ready, set up your warrior two on side two. Take a big step back with the right leg, wiggle your arms open. Keep a nice bend on the lead leg. Tap the wall in front, tap the wall behind. You are confident, you are capable. You are confident, you are capable. Invert the front hand. Drop the back hand to your leg. Start to frame your head as you find a slight crescent frame through the back, looking up towards the palm on the lead arm. Look for that nice little crescent frame through your back. Start to open up and breathe deeply into the left side of your ribs. We're going to find our side angle from here. Start to make your lead elbow heavy. Maybe beginning to drop the arm to the inseam of the lead leg, maybe palm to floor. Maybe tucking the other arm behind your back. If you can, begin to soften the bottom arm. Try to bind between the legs, dropping down even lower through the pelvis if you can. Pause here, looking for that strength, looking for that confidence within your movement. Own your movement today. Maybe keeping the bind and beginning to straighten up the lead leg. You can bend and extend dynamically with that lead leg if you find that you're still too tight. And then maybe when the legs feel like they have released enough, you could hold that modified triangle bind. Trying to draw up the energy along the kneecaps of both legs. You're going to bleed your way from here into your goddess line, allowing the feet to splay out, maybe dropping down a little bit lower this time. Left arm comes in front, overlay the right arm into the left. Find your little eagle, your Garudasana bind, and hold it. Pressing softly into the palms of both hands, trying to drop down through the pelvis, keeping your tailbone tucked under and your belly button pulled in. Lead your way from here back into your warrior two. Tap the wall in front, tap the wall behind. And then launch off the back leg and step to the front of your mat, finding your way back into your modified mountain. From here, you're going to step back into a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Take a step back, place your hands on the mat. Find a 4-point kneeling frame, and then we're going to play up a plank line from here. So you can either give me a flat hand with your fingers open nice and wide, or you can play with a fisted line, wrists looking in. Or if you really want to challenge yourself, you're going to play with spider fingertips and push off the tips of your fingers so that you're conditioning your fingers, the palm of your hand, your wrist. You're going to step back into a plank line from here, either just holding your spider plank or beginning to play with a little leg switch, drawing one knee in towards your nose and then maybe giving me a little hop back as you change legs. So think of it as a plank switch, exhaling as you draw that knee in towards your nose. Maybe giving yourself a few playful rounds here, anywhere between 5 and 10 knee draws. Then relax back into child pose. Big toes together, knees open nice and wide. Arms relaxed at your side, palms looking up to the ceiling, and finding that little pressure point on your third eye, your Anya chakra. Start to repeat to yourself once more, I am capable, I am confident. I am capable, I am confident. Breathing nice and deeply the whole time into the back of your ribs. Using child pose, using Bhavasana to just regroup. Think about that mantra. Keep running it through your mind's eye. Bleed your way back into your plank line. Flat hand, fisted, or spinal. Right, we're going to play with a bent leg this time. So think tabletop line. Tuck your toes under. Long line through the spine, belly button pulled into center. Push off your fingertips, push off your knees and give me a bear hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Relax your knees to the floor. Find child, big toes together, knees open, nice and wide. Begin with your arms just softly draped alongside you. If you've got any neck issues, stay here in child pose. Alternatively, start to acclimate your body to the sensation of having pressure on the head by finding your way into hare pose, rocking off your third eye and onto the crown of your head, and then softly peeling back into child. So you're almost coming into a kneeling-like frame, thinking bum to sky, rocking the weights off your third eye, your Anya chakra, and bringing it to your Sahasrara chakra, your crown chakra. Start to roll through that little tingly sensation, that pinprick sensation as you bear weights on the crown. And if you're comfortable here in hare pose, you can maybe hold your hair for a few soft counts, looking for a sense of lengthening through the neckline. Conditioning the neck. Then relax back into child pose. Forehead connected to the floor, arms soft and relaxed at your side. Giving yourself a few recovery breaths as you think of that mantra. I am confident. I am capable. I am confident. I am capable. Bleed your way from here back into your 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Flat hand, fisted hand, or spider fingertips. Alright, tuck your toes under. Find that long line through your spine and your neck. Keep your core engaged. Lift your knees off the floor and then softly tap them back to the mat. You're going to tap out 10 times without smacking your knees to the floor. So you're pushing off your fingertips. You're using that belly to spine motion to draw your knees off the floor. I am capable. I am confident. Ease your way from here back into child pose. Big toes together, knees softly splayed out, arms draped alongside your body, palms up, forehead connected to the floor. We're going to try to work a little progression coming into a quarter headstand from here. If you're not sure, take a look, then pause the stream and try it for yourself. From child pose, you're going to ease your way into hare pose, thinking of rolling the weight off your forehead onto the crown of your head, coming into a half kneeling frame. Push strongly through the neck, so look for a sense of length. Then bend the elbows, place your palms halfway between your head and your knees, not alongside your head, halfway between your knees and your head, elbows tucking in towards the center line. Begin to tuck your toes under, think down dog, and then start to straighten up your shoulder and your neckline by walking your toes closer towards your head. When it feels like your shoulders and your neck and your head are on one line, then one knee, try to rest it on one tricep, and then maybe try to replicate on side two. Coming into a quarter headstand, maybe the big toes are touching, as you did in child, and your knees are softly splayed out. If coming into the quarter headstand is not for you today, stay in child pose, or maybe just hold here for a few soft moments, and then bleed your way back into child. Keep playing with that mantra. I am confident. I am capable. I am confident. I am capable. Bleed your way from here back into child pose. Big toes together, knees softly splayed out. Arms long, softly draped at your side. Palms up. No tension in the shoulders. Forehead softly connected to the mat. You could even place a block underneath your head, pressing your third eye softly into that block. When you're ready, you're going to ease your way back into 4-point kneeling. Flat hand, fisted line, or spider fingertips. Start to tuck your toes under. Think of that bear hold. So as you push off your toes, embrace your core and lift your knees off the floor. You're going to kick one leg through, and then you're going to change sides. Keeping it almost bear-like modification on that back leg, maybe toes slightly splayed out as you do a little kick through. Keeping belly to spine the whole time. Give yourself a few kick throughs, or maybe you just want to hold the bear. And relax back down into child pose. Big toes together, knees softly splayed out, arms softly draped at your side. We're going to try to find our way from here into a full headstand. You can modify on the elbows if you prefer. My neck to elbow ratio is too short, so using the elbows is really uncomfortable for me and puts a lot of pressure on the neck, so I prefer to work with an extended arm line. But if you prefer bent elbows, by all means, use your full arms. From your relaxed child pose with the weight on your forehead, bleed your way into hare pose, Shashanka. So weight comes onto the crown, find your half kneeling like frame on the mat. Bend your elbows, place your hands halfway between the head and the knees. Start to tuck your toes under, think bum to sky. Then start to straighten up your neck and your shoulder line by walking your toes closer. Squeeze your elbows in, tucking maybe into a little ball frame this time. And then seeing if you can extend the legs. Coming into your headstand. Start to run that mantra through. I'm confident. I'm capable. When you're ready to come out, relax back down into child. Arms are just softly draped at your side. Make sure you've made space for your torso. And breathe as deeply as you can into the back and the sides of your ribs on each inhalation. Allow your blood pressure and your heart rate to stabilize. Coming back to homeostasis. You're going to bleed your way from here back into 4-point kneeling. We'll work a modified chaturanga, maybe from your tabletop line, floating both feet off the mat, maybe crossing at the ankles. We're going to come down slowly as we can. So begin to bend through the elbows, hug them in towards your ribs. Come down uber slowly, slow motion. See if you can hover your chin off the floor for a second or two. Then release down to your belly, roll over onto your side, repositioning yourself in the middle of the mat, and just make sure that you've got room on either side of your mat to play. Bend your knees and connect the soles of your feet to the mat. Maybe just giving yourself a T-arm at first, palms looking up to the sky, and just making the back of your shoulders nice and heavy into the mat. Begin to run that little mantra through your head. I am confident. I am capable. Begin to extend the right leg up to the sky, actively bracing into the sole of your foot, as if you were pushing the ceiling away with the whole sole of your foot. Maybe you'd like to stay here, or maybe you can use your hands to wrap around the back of your thigh, or maybe you can come to a big toe lock, or maybe wrap your hands around the ball of the foot, or maybe you have a strap or a hand towel that you could just loop over your feet to make that connection. Come to a big toe A-line, either playing freehand or using a belt or a strap to help you make that connection. Now open up the right leg to the side of the room, floating your head in the opposite direction. Pause here, just focus on making both shoulder blades nice and heavy into the mat. Inhale to come back to your A-line. And this time, maybe extend your support leg, actively bracing into that foot as well. And try to open up the tight kink behind both knees. Make both shoulders nice and heavy. Keep your belly button nice and heavy to the mat. Take a big breath in and then open up your right leg to the side while you look to the left, trying to keep yourself pegged on the left side of the body. Allowing the pelvis to open up as much as it wants to. Lead your way back into your A-line stretch and then bend your support leg. Coming into a figure 4 position, resting your right ankle on the left side and maybe giving me that nice little T-arm, palms up or down, whichever you feel gives you the most relaxed shoulder line into the mat. Let's start to play with a dynamic little pigeon line. Starting to keep that figure 4 position, start to draw your left knee towards your nose and then tap the whole left foot back to the mat. Do that maybe 5 or 6 times. Every time you lift the left knee up, you try to draw that left knee closer towards your nose so that you can feel more stretch happening in the hip flexors on the right. Then maybe ending in the knee to nose position and actively holding here, maybe for a soft count of 10. If you need to, you could even bind to the undercarriage of your left thigh and just pull closer towards your nose. Otherwise, you're just playing freestyle. Using your core to draw the knee in towards your nose. Then start to drop your whole figure 4 frame to the left, trying to ground your right foot into the mat and looking with your head in the opposite direction so that you're getting a little bit of a twist into the spine. Maybe you'd even like to use your left hand to push the right knee away from you. Keeping that soft T frame on the right. Then bleed back to center. Find that figure 4 and start to extend the sole of the left foot out to the sky. Maybe scooping to peel up off your shoulders, holding to the back of your left thigh, and then relaxing your head and shoulders back to the mat and holding that extended figure 4. Then look towards your legs and think about how you can find your way into a half lotus line from here. Maybe unbinding from the back of your thighs, reaching for your right foot, tucking it closer towards your hip flexor on the left, and then relaxing your whole frame down to the mat. Maybe using your right hand to push the right thigh away from you as you just relax, this time into more of a supine figure 4. Maybe staying here or looking for an opportunity to find your way into a full supine lotus line from here. Come back into your figure 4, left leg looking up to the sky, maybe beginning to bend that knee as well, reaching for that foot and trying to overlay that foot on top of the other leg, tucking both heels in nice and close towards the hips and just relaxing into a supine lotus. If the supine lotus is not working for you, maybe you just like to stay in that figure 4 with that leg relaxed on the mat, pushing that knee away from you. Then wherever you are, untangle your legs and start to kick with both feet towards the sky, opening up the tight kink behind your knees. Maybe scooping to peel up and holding onto the back chain of your legs for a moment here. Think lower and mid back nice and heavy into the mat, weight off the shoulders, belly button nice and heavy into the mat. Then bend your knees, connect the soles of your feet to the mat. Relax the arms at your side. Begin in neutral spine. We're going to just use some pelvic tilts. On an active exhale, tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock. Imprint your lower and your mid back. Pause here, looking for that delicious release into the whole lower back. Then inhale to come back to neutral. Maybe playing with that movement dynamically and giving yourself maybe 5 or 6 little pelvic tilts. Playing with neutral spine. And then that little imprint into the mat as you think of curling your tailbone in towards your belly button line, making your lower and your mid back nice and heavy into the mat. Then release back to neutral. Keep your right foot where it is and kick the left leg up to the sky. Maybe looking for that T-frame through the arms, making the back of your shoulders nice and heavy to the mat. Maybe reaching for the back of your right thigh. Maybe you're interlacing the hands and making a little basket, pausing here. Maybe you'd like to come to a big toe lock or hold onto the ball of your foot, or maybe you've got a strap that you can modify with. Keep your right hand T-frame, palm up or down, whichever gives you the most relaxed shoulder line into the mat. Take a big breath in, and when you're ready, begin to open up your leg to the left. While you look to the right, make sure that you've got enough room to open up the leg without kicking over anything. And just give yourself a couple of relaxed breaths here. that right shoulder connected to the mat. Inhale to come back to center. Find your A-line stretch, maybe this time extending your right leg and actively bracing into that foot as well. So open up the tight kink behind both knees. Pause here, just making both shoulders deliciously heavy into the mat. Take a big breath in, and then open up your left leg to the left while you look to the right, trying to keep yourself pinned on the right side of the body. So right shoulder, right bum, stay connected to the mat. Shoulder blades nice and heavy into the mat, belly button nice and heavy into the mat. Find your way back to your A-line stretch and begin to bend your right knee, grounding the foot, and then setting up your figure four on the left. So think left ankle and foot resting on the right side. Find the T-frame arm line that works for you. Palm up or down and make those shoulders nice and heavy into the mat. Keep the figure four cross as you start dynamically drawing the right knee in towards your nose and then relaxing the sole of the foot back to the mat. Just play with that movement for a few dynamic rounds. Exhaling as you draw the knee in towards your nose and then inhaling as you allow the foot to come back to the mat. Ending in the knee to nose position, playing freestyle, or maybe you'd like to bind your hands behind your thighs to get more stretch. So just do what feels the most intuitive for you. Then opening up your arms into T and starting to drop your whole figure four frame to the right, trying to ground that right foot into the mat. Maybe you're using your right hand to push the left knee away. Your whole figure four frame has dropped to the right and your head is looking in the opposite direction. So you're getting a nice little bit of twist through the spine. Inhale to bleed back to center. Maybe this time extending the right leg, scooping to peel up off the shoulders, holding onto the back chain of your right leg. Getting a nice little extended figure four line here. And then maybe tucking into a supine half lotus line from here. So unbinding from the back of your right thigh. Start to reach for the left foot. Start to tuck the heel in closer towards the hip flexor on the right. And start to make both legs heavy to the mat. Holding onto the foot with your right hand and just maybe using your left palm or fingertips to just push the left thigh away from you. Relax your back line into the mat. Stay here, or maybe use this as an opportunity to come into a full lotus position while you're in supine. So maybe coming back into your figure four, starting to bend the knee of your extended leg, try to tuck one foot over the other, so crossing at the ankles with the tops of your feet resting on the thighs, maybe coming back into that relaxed T-frame. Breathing nice and deeply into the back of your ribs, to the sides of your ribs, to the front of your ribs. Then whenever you will, you're going to unravel your legs. You're going to float both feet up to the sky. Maybe beginning in T. Maybe you want to heel and toe out. If you were in a half lotus line and you need to get that tingly sensation out your feet and your ankles. Then scoop to peel up off your shoulders, maybe grasping for the back of your thighs and just pausing here in a little U-frame, maybe looking down towards your belly button. And then bend your knees, connect the soles of your feet to the mat. Relax the arms at your side, or maybe you're still in T, whichever feels good for you. We're going to play with that little pelvic tilt, begin in neutral. On the exhale, tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock, imprint your lower and your mid back, pause. And then inhale to bleed back to neutral. Give yourself maybe 5 or 6 little tilts through the pelvis. Working with your breath. Exhaling to tilt and hold. And then inhale to release back to neutral. Maybe beginning to close your eyes and take your focus inward. End in a neutral spine position. And use the heel of one palm to gently press into your chest. On the breastbone, just soft pulsing like motions. So somewhere between your chest and your throat center. Take the heel of your other arm and take the heel of your other palm and begin to gently pulse onto the third eye. Start to run that mantra through your mind's eye. I am confident. I am capable. I am confident. I am capable. See that truth, reflect that truth within your heart, within your mind. I am confident. I am capable. With that thought, close off your practice for today by bringing your hands into soft prayer mudra overhead, maybe tapping your thumb tips to your nose or your third eye on the words Namaste. Stay here for as long as you need to, and when you're ready, gently roll over onto one side, maybe coming into a soft fetal pose and just chilling out there for a few soft moments, allowing your blood pressure, your heart rate to stabilize. And then easing your way from here maybe into a seated frame before even thinking about coming into a standing frame. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time, keep it light.